Hello everyone, welcome back to Tina Teach Bootstrap 5 Images. Today's lesson we'll be talking about the how to code different image shapes, aligning multiple images, and having responsive images for when you want to have a responsive website and it looks better in different screen dimensions. Okay, first off, image shapes. Very simply, rounded, circle, and thumbnail. Well, if you want an image to be round, you simply assign it the class rounded. Similarly with rounded circle and image thumbnail. Okay. Now let's just go briefly through the HTML syntax here. Image is for an image tag and it is empty, therefore you do not need to close it. Source is the source of an image. It could be a URL or it could be a local file that you've downloaded in your HTML folder. Okay, and you can certainly copy and paste the path into the source attribute for HTML to figure out where the image is located on your computer. And alt is simply alternative, which is going to be a text that you yourself put to explain what the image is about in the case that the image cannot be loaded due to some browser incapabilities on the user's end. Okay. This is just to make it more accessible. Next up, to aligning. We're going to work on aligning two images, and you can certainly use them with float and start and float and end. Now, the float keyword here may sound very familiar to those who have brushed up a little bit with CSS. If you remember, you can actually float an image left to right as a way of, positioning them. And it works similarly here in Bootstrap. If you float start, it goes to the left, float, and it goes to the right, okay? And centering an image, I will be giving it these following properties: MX Auto for margin auto, and D block for display block, okay? And display block here, it'll also affect the relationship of this center image with any elements, any HTML elements that surround it, but that's for another lesson, okay? We're just going to briefly brush through this. We have the image tag, the source, naturally, and we have class, MX Auto, remember the spacing, D block, and then style, okay? This inline CSS. Lastly, to responsivity. Responsive images automatically adjust to fit the size of the screen, and Bootstrap does that by using the image fluid class. This applies max width 100%, so this would take as much space as it is available, and the height is auto. Okay, height auto, it depends on the image itself and the file properties. Image class, image fluid, source alt, and then we have the width and height attribute instead of using the inline CSS that we've seen earlier. Width and height 800. So this would, be a square. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and create a div with the class container. So I'm gonna have two divs, and this is the first div, image source. I'm gonna go with the cat.jpg. I've downloaded this directly to my HTML folder, which is the same folder that main.html this file is on. Okay, now that we have the source, let's go for the class rounded. This will make the edges of the image round compared to just sharp square edges. Image source cat. Once again, we're going to be using the same picture to sort of see the difference between the classes over here. Image source cat class image thumbnail. Okay, now let's move on to the second div, class container image. So these two should be side by side. Class float start, and I'm gonna give it a style of width 30%. So they don't actually, if they are too large, they would just appear top to bottom instead of side by side. And I'm going to copy this, paste, Instead of start, I'll say N. Down here, we're going to have a center image, source cat, class margin auto, and then display is block, style width is 50%, image class, image fluid, source cat, width 800, height 800. Okay, now let's see how this works out. Okay, so if you look at the first image over here, you can see that the corners are rounded, okay? They're not sharp. Second one, it is oval. It is circular. Next one is a thumbnail, so it has this a little bit fainted outline over here. Go down here, we have two images that are side by side and one that is perfectly in the middle, okay? And the job of this one is to be responsive, which I'm going to try by resizing the browser window. Okay, as you can see here, these two are not responsive. They're cut. So if you were to view them on, let's say, a mobile device, it will look something like this, which doesn't look very nice. But if you go for this one, no matter how you resize it, it's going to display the complete images, okay? Unless it gets too small, obviously. Now that's it for today's lesson. I hope that you learned something new. Our next topic is going to be about Bootstrap alerts, and going to be learning about pop-ups and whatnot. So thank you for watching until the end. I do hope that you learned something new. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment any questions that you have. Learn today, better tomorrow, and have a wonderful day.